Welcome back to all my Divas dolls and Luigi Mangione. This is Man Coverage. I am Caitlin White. Would love to just get right into it and talk about this last Bills game this week. I mean, in general, a good game to watch. I like watching an exciting game. I'd rather watch something like this, even if we have to lose, knock on wood, dare I say. But at least it was fun. It was interesting. It was dramatic. There was a lot of back and forth. And we love a good story here. So we played the Rams on Sunday in LA. This is, of course, Kobe Turner's team, our Broadway king from last week. But an interesting game considering we lost. I mean, yes, disappointment is the main theme here. But as always, Josh Allen continues Josh Allening against the odds. Nevertheless, he persists. Still breaking records even with that overall team loss. Allen made NFL history this Sunday by scoring all 6 of Buffalo's touchdowns in the game. The loss also marked the first time in Bills franchise history that the Bills have lost a game when still scoring 40 points. I mean, this was a massive game. The Rams and Bills combined for 86 points, which makes it the highest scoring game of the season in the NFL. This game was very historic in a lot of ways. There are a lot of very specific records that were made or broken. Things like the Rams' 44-42 win over the Bills marked just the second time in NFL history that 2 teams combined for 5 touchdown passes, 5 rushing touchdowns, and no turnovers. Now, that's a very long sentence that I don't fully understand regardless. It sounds like a lot of very specific things happened in a way that have never happened before. But my question is, who thinks of these stats and things like that? It's so wild to even know to look up that combo of events and be like, oh shit, this is the first time since 1965 that these 3 things have been done in a game. Someone tell Tom Brady immediately. I also want to touch on Puka Nacua, the man that you are. The 23-year-old Rams wide receiver was born in Vegas, raised in Provo, Utah, and then went on to BYU, Brigham Young University, which always gives me weird vibes. I mean, I love a Mormon reality TV show, but like going to BYU, what are you doing there? You're a football player, but you can't like drink beer or like sleep with girls and you're just spending your off hours soaking. I don't know. I also wonder what his favorite swig order is. It's very inside baseball for my other football and secret lives of Mormon wives girlies. He acquired the name Puka, meaning fat and chubby in Samoan, due to his size as a baby, and he's also of Samoan, Hawaiian, and Portuguese heritage. His government first name is Makea, M-A-K-E-A. He was selected by the Rams in the 5th round of the 2023 NFL Draft and set many rookie records for receiving yards and receptions. It was also named to the Pro Bowl and was a second-team All-Pro player. So despite being on the Rams and beating us, I was impressed by just how good of a game he had. Sometimes you see people on other teams do things and make these big plays and just have great games, and it's like, damn. I mean, you got to celebrate it a little bit. It's fun to watch. Good for you, a 23-year-old from Provo, Utah. Shout out. But one last thing on the Bills, Micah Hyde is back. He's on the practice squad. That was announced last week, literally like right after I recorded last week's episode. But beautiful boy, wonderful player. Love to have him in Buffalo. Love how much he and his family love Buffalo. We've gone to a couple of his charity baseball games he has where all the players over the summer come back and they do a little baseball game over at the Bison Stadium. And all of the money raised goes back to his charity, the Imagine for Youth Foundation, which helps children achieve a healthy, active, and educated life. Micah, so happy to have you back home. In other NFL football sports-related news, Trevor Lawrence, QB of the Jaguars. I mean, in terms of stats, he's got to have the longest face in the game, but he was still out this week after a really bad hit. Late in the second quarter of the Jaguars game on December 1st, so that was 2 Sundays now ago, that was against the Houston Texans, Lawrence scrambled out of the pocket and went to slide, as many QBs do, to kind of just say, hey, don't hit me, I'm going down. And Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair leveled him while he slid, leading into the hit with his forearm, causing Lawrence's head to bounce hard off the turf. Now, this article from USA Today goes on to say that the hit started a fight between the teams as Lawrence lay on the ground with his arms frozen in the fencing posture, which is a sign of head trauma. Now, the fencing posture in context of brain injuries refers to an involuntary arm position where one arm is extended straight out and the other is flexed at the elbow, resembling the stance of a fencer, which can occur immediately after a significant head trauma and is considered a sign of a serious brain injury, many times indicating potential damage to the brain stem. So definitely some scary stuff there. Definitely learning new things all year and every day about head trauma and neuroscience, and we're just all hoping for the best for Trevor Lawrence. I also wanted to talk about something I saw a lot on social media this week. Again, I am chronically online, so maybe this isn't as big of news as for some people, but Timothée Chalamet, he had a surprise appearance last weekend as the guest picker on ESPN's College Game Day. So we're moving over to college football now. And he was the only person on this 5-person panel who correctly picked Ohio's 38-3 win over Miami. And people online are kind of losing their minds a bit. The video that made this moment viral has like 90,000 views. And I mean, it even cracks me up a bit because, yeah, it is weird to see Timothée speaking confidently and knowledgeably about football stats. And he's also speaking in this like frat bro cadence, low mask voice that I've never really heard from him.
I'm going Jackson State, 8 wins in a row, 11 all-conference players. This should be a comfortable, easy win for them.
Breaking it down. Yeah. No. This guy's a great actor.
Now, lest we forget that this is a straight man who is 28 years old. Arguably the ideal demo for football, professional football, college football, or whatever. I mean, sports in general is geared towards men in their 20s and 30s, right? So the fact that, whatever, the culture or the online blogosphere or whatever is so shocked that Timothée enjoys college football enough to have, like, thoughtful and correct opinions is so funny to me. I mean, these ideas of who is a football fan and it doesn't make news and everyone's like, yeah, sure, that's a guy who likes football. And who is a surprise football fan worthy of articles and social media clickbait and kind of causing a stir. I mean, it all feeds back into binary thinking. A person dresses this way and acts this way, so they must be this way. And if a guy is in Call Me By Your Name, even if he is a straight man, there's no way he could know anything about football. And I'm no better than my own critique. I know I spent a good 15, 20 minutes last week talking about how cute and funny it was that a few NFL players had thoughts about music and Wicked and Broadway. And yeah, that makes me part of the problem, even if I am in queer media, as some say. But either way, to feed into the frenzy a bit more, the clip that I mentioned, Timothée was wearing a bright pink puffer jacket, and an article in GQ notes that the coat hails from UK designer Martine Rose's yet-to-drop Spring-Summer 2025 collection. Love that for him. And Timmy is actually a perfect 2 for 2 so far on his picks in the early slate during championship weekend in college football. He also correctly predicted Arizona State winning 45-19 over Iowa State. So shout out to him, a man of many talents. He can play gay, he can play Willy Wonka, the two genders. And I mean, all that being said, right, we get to a place where no one's surprised by people's interests and hobbies. But I guess until then, we can do this. My last point for today is I watched the Taylor and Travis Christmas movie knockoff, so you don't have to. Now, you may be thinking, oh, is that the one with Donna Kelce? That's like a Chiefs-sponsored film. And the answer is no. There are actually two kind of Taylor, Travis, Tavis-related Christmas movies. So this is not the one with Donna Kelce. That is a movie called Holiday Touchdown, A Chiefs Love Story. It's a legitimate collaboration between the Hallmark Channel and the Kansas City Chiefs franchise, which is insane. But this movie is a Lifetime classic in that it is poorly produced, looks like it was made in 1997. The storyline is bizarro, and it is a very direct and blatant knockoff of the Tavis love story. It's called Christmas in the Spotlight. Again, it's on the Lifetime channel. It's free somehow. I think I'm logged in with someone's like Spectrum account. It was free for me. So it stars Bowen, a girl, which I love is like a gender neutral name. She is a popular singer who develops an unexpected romance with Drew, a professional football player. As their feelings grow, they face mounting pressure from the press, the paparazzi, fans, and even their families. Now, that is the official description of this film. Her fans, Bowen's fans, who plays the Taylor Swift in this movie, her fans are called arrowheads because her name is Bowen. So it's like bows and arrows, arrowheads. Which I kind of love that as like a nod to the Chiefs. I mean, we're anti-Chiefs still, but like we'll take some funny writing where we can get it. Anyways, this movie, Christmas in the Spotlight, the unlicensed knockoff. Bowen is giving a little more Sabrina Carpenter than Taylor Swift, I would say. She's a bit younger, and in the story, she's releasing a Christmas album while she appears to be in a bit of a career slump. Even though later in the film, she has a list of accomplishments that is quite long, much like Taylor's. On the other side, Drew is a wide receiver and on a football team with his brother, who is the star QB. They are the Bay Springs Bombers. Drew is stressed because he is also kind of in a slump. His contract is up soon, and he's afraid he won't be resigned. And clearly his brother, his older brother, is kind of like the star of the team and the star of the family. Immediately, all the songs are very obvious ripoffs and knockoffs of Taylor songs. Like, you can kind of tell, like, oh, that's basically Shake It Off, or oh, that's basically this one. And the brothers are, of course, very Kelce-coded. The older brother, whose name they didn't say, I don't think, or I can't remember, he is married and he has a couple daughters, and Drew is very much the fun-loving, charismatic party uncle. To get to more of the meat of the story, Drew gets his niece Bowen tickets for her birthday. She's a big fan. And so we're at the show, and the niece reveals that Drew has a crush on Miss Bowen, the pop star. And because Drew is a famous football player, they get to go backstage, meet Bowen. Anyways, the team finds out that he had a meet and greet with Bowen, and they're all like, oh, you should like go after that. And so very similar to how Killatreff in real life went after Miss Taylor Swift, Drew in the film uploads a picture on Instagram and is like, hey, just saw you, Bowen, would love to get a drink or whatever. A lot of Taylor Swift lyrics are sprinkled throughout the dialogue, which is probably only noticeable to a 34-year-old teenager like me, but I did find that fun. You can tell there are some like Swifties who are on the writing team, even though it is written, again, like I said, a average Lifetime Christmas movie, average Lifetime movie in general. It's not good. I wouldn't watch it again, but I didn't hate watching it, you know? I mean, I don't want Christmas movies to necessarily be good. I want them to be kind of disposable, and I want them to be made on a $3,000 budget, which is very much what this was. There's a storyline where Bowen loves puzzles, and she doesn't really find joy in her career anymore. I don't know what that was about, but like loving puzzles is very Taylor-coded with how she's always like has Easter eggs. And the big spoiler comes when Drew gets a big offer from the LA Stars football team, which means he could move to LA from wherever Bay Springs is and be closer to Bowen. But she's not ready for that. She has some kind of childhood trauma and doesn't want him to like be too close to her and doesn't want to like actually officially date him. That kind of is like the driving storyline to this film. Anyways, out of 10, I mean, I don't think you can grade Lifetime movies on the same scale as other films in general. I think it's something fun to put on in the background. I was sick from chemo last week and I was doing some embroidery work. So I had like another project to focus on while this played in the background. So I would put it on if you're crafting, decorating, cleaning the house, making Christmas cookies, something festive in the background. But I will definitely be checking out the official, I guess, Chiefs Christmas movie, which is now where we are in, late stage capitalism or whatever. So TBD on that review. Thank you for listening to another episode of Man Coverage. Please, if you have a second, go and leave a 5-star rating and a review for the show on whatever platform you use to listen to us. You hear this all the time, but that shit really does matter for podcasters. So do it for us and do it for any podcast you love to listen to. Also, make sure that you are following our Instagram page at Man Coverage Pod for more visual stupidity. And double check that you are subscribed to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Go Bills.